Hello and welcome to the Publicly Challenged Podcast. I'm your host, Luke Oswald, and I hope you join me on my quest for knowledge to become a better public land hunter, angler, and forager. Stick with this and who knows, maybe we will learn something together.
All right, so I'm sitting here with Caleb Sorrells and David Hahn of Bear Archery. And Caleb, would you like to go ahead and introduce yourself for everybody listening so they know who you are?
For sure. Yeah, my name is Caleb Sorrells. I'm the marketing manager over at Bear and the Bear Archery brands. We have Trophy Ridge, Sick Broadhead, and Cajun bow fishing. Been in the archery industry for quite a while now. Excited to be on the podcast.
Excited to have you. And David, can you go ahead and introduce yourself for everybody listening as well?
Yes, my name is David Hahn. I've been a design engineer for Bear Archery for about 11 years now. Started out working primarily on Trophy Ridge components and sights, specifically the React sights. And then more recently, probably Bear bows and also Sick Broadheads there in the middle. Lifelong bow hunter, 35 plus years. So this was a passion a long time ago. And for the last 11 years, I get to do it as a job.
I absolutely love seeing people that have their passion and get to tie that into their full-time career. Unfortunately, that's not me. Here I am just podcasting as a passion project, if you will. But it's always amazing to talk to guys like you guys and really, see that what you feel your passion for and what fuels you anyway really drives your work and makes you guys come out with some pretty cool things and have a passion for what you're doing. And you can always tell that when a brand actually has people that care about what they're doing and working on. So Caleb, I kind of want to just get into you a little bit. You kind of new to the team, but really taking charge and doing some cool things along the way. So
So I'm only a few months in here. I've been around a few different other companies, but we definitely have some cool things in the works and definitely have a good team here that's ready to put hammer to the nail and get some stuff done. So we're excited. We have a lot of cool stuff, that can't be really talked about, but it's going to be good.
Yeah. So let's talk about some of the stuff that has come out, which was new this year. A lot of it was launched at ATA.
Yep.
I got to shoot some of it. I was actually thoroughly impressed. And then some of the things even took me back a little bit, back to the solo cam days and things like that as well with the new THP bow. And it took me back a minute, but then there was like a practicality standpoint of it, which we can get into, David, and talk about that and the reasoning behind that, because I think that's pretty cool. But can you kind of talk about the new product line and what's kind of exciting and what you guys are passionate about right now?
Right. Like you said, we, as far as our flagship bow, we pushed the envelope even farther this year with the Execute 30 and 32. And really chasing vibration. The whole market is chasing vibration, reduced vibration, that is. And we hit a home run with those two bows for sure when it comes to vibration and feel on the shot, while still maintaining very respectable speed and performance. Legend XR is one of our mid-range bows, new for this year. And the XR stands for extended range. And what's really, really cool about that bow is it'd go from 18 inches of draw length clear up to 31 inches of draw length on a 32-inch axle-to-axle platform. And that's a patented cam system that we developed over the last 2 years. And we expect big things out of that cam system and that bow. That's two of our high hitters as far as for the year on new technologies. So, and then of course you had mentioned the THP bow. And you're right that what we did was took one of our solo cam proven systems and added the additional limb stop capability, and then worked with those guys. They wanted a different style grip as opposed to directly on the aluminum riser, and that's pretty much what we did with those guys. Was gave them what they kind of wanted, but then something that would be super easy to tune, super easy to shoot, and fit 90% of the archers trying to use that platform.
Yeah, no, what was cool is you just mentioned on it's the Legend, right? That
The Legend XR.
it's capable of expanding, which kind of goes to Bear's kind of credo that's always been around is the working man's bow and being able to buy something that's tried and true. I mean, you could buy it for your son who says 14 and only has whatever draw length, and he's going to be able to grow up with that throughout the years and to be able to
Definitely.
utilize that bow. And that just popped in my head. I didn't even know that was an option on the bow, but that seems like a really solid idea without having to reinvest every few years into a bow for a kid that's going to outgrow it.
Definitely, definitely. That's one of our meat and potatoes, of course, is like the legit bow that's been around for a couple several years now. But Bear has always had a highly adjustable double cam system since I've worked here that will fit anybody clear down to like some of them went to 12 inches of draw, believe it or not, but say 14, 15, clear up to 30. And the XR system is a hybrid cam system that will do 18 to 31 as was the range we decided on, trying to fit as many people as possible. And exactly what you said, I'm a father of two boys. Now they're grown men. But when a father's going through that stage of life with kids trying to shoot, that the Legend XR bow will be a perfect bow for a kid or young adult shooter that can, grow with you bow. So yes,
I was I was actually thoroughly impressed with that bow when I shot it. I mean, even though you say it's your mid range, your midline bow, it still handled itself surprisingly
yeah,
well to where
well,
you would think it could compete with some of the higher end bows or so called claiming higher end bows. It really can. I mean, it's
I
maybe
mean,
not
so
speed wise or some of those things, but as far as the hand feel, the shock, and the repeatability of the shot, that's there. Like
oh yeah,
that's there.
yeah. I mean, it is some of the same people, some of the same engineers working on all of our projects. So we take what we learn at the top end and apply it where we can at the mid range points.
Yeah. So Caleb, I'm kind of curious on your take as far as the the affordability, the standpoint as far as that goes. What's the driving force there to market to people and get those bows into people's hands? I mean, at the end of the day, we just want people to shoot, right?
Right, for sure. No, and that's always been the thing with Bear is even Fred himself, he wanted archery accessible to everybody. So that's always been a driving force for Bear is making us archery accessible to everyone. So the Legend XR, it's a buy once, cry once type of product. Like you said, if you have a young shooter or somebody getting into it that's going to have a lot of growth throughout their life, or you have somebody that's on that shorter end of it, the way that cam is designed, you're getting very, very efficient performance at every draw length within that highly adjustable range. So you're not sacrificing anything with that bow. You're getting something that's going to fit everybody. It's going to be very efficient for everybody as well.
Yeah. What's kind of the plan as far as Bear and uh, availability of, higher end bows as well? Is that something that's it's kind of new. It's not, like you guys have always been there. It's not like the bows were low quality, but like you said, they were affordable. They were the working man's bow. What's the plan in the future to kind of move forward? Are we going to go towards the higher end, or are we always going to compete and uh, keep products available? What's the goal there?
No, there's definitely going to be a balance. So, like David kind of mentioned, we're going to use what we learn at that high end and use that technology and make our mid range and our working class bows better every time that we come out with a high end bow. Those technological advances that we learn and different little things that make bows better, they're going to be, translated down to that other range. But, moving forward, that high end is not going to be something that's ignored, but it's going to be, there is a balance. We're going to make sure that every bow that we put out is, as good as we can for the time that we're putting it out.
Yeah. What's the, because I don't have any retailers around me that actually carry you other than like one big box store that's still quite a haul away. Is it something in the future that maybe you guys would be direct to consumer, or is it going to be through bow shops? What's that kind of look like?
So on our high-end bows, we are still a dealer exclusive. Some of our mainline and mid-range bows are available direct to consumer already. Like the Cruiser GT, the Legit, some of those bows that come that, they have a no type peep in them already, that there's a peep in the string. There's not a whole lot of bow press work that has to be done with a lot of those bows, and those bows are direct to consumer already.
Yeah. So do you think it's a possibility for the higher end stuff to eventually become direct to consumer, or no? Is that something that warranty wise, we don't want to go down that road yet, maybe?
We're not going to ignore the market trends, but we're also, we have a very dedicated dealer base that we're not going to abandon either. So
yeah,
it's something that, we'll play it by ear, but they're first and foremost who we're going to take care of.
Okay. Is there a way you can find a dealer for a bow, for a bear, if you wanted to get into the higher end? I mean, I know, like, I think Cabela's carries them, right? But is there another like list or directory that you can find?
Yeah, so we do have a dealer locator on the website. Yep.
Okay. That's something that I found very interesting. One of the things from an engineering standpoint, speed has always been the envelope that is pushed, but it seems technology-wise or innovation-wise, it's kind of peaked over the last 15 years to where it may be tweaked or redesigned, but it's not necessarily new technology. People claim that, right? That it's, revolutionary new technology for the very first time ever, which, I mean, that's been claimed for the past 15 years, and it's, speed has kind of been capped. What's the next direction that really seems to be the market driver as far as bows and pushing the envelope with bows to get something that the consumer really wants to crave?
With respect to speed, or with what do you think the next market trend is?
Yeah, exactly. Like the next market trend that will improve bows, I think, is the way the question was phrased. As far as speed's been pushed for so long now that, I mean, we've kind of reached a peak to where we haven't seen anything revolutionary within the past 15 years, even though it's been claimed. But
right. I mean, I guess to address the speed thing first, I mean, the human body's only so big, and we rate stuff at 30 inches of draw, and everybody that's still in business is running, cam systems and bow platforms that are in the mid 80% efficiencies. So there's not much more there to be had unless a brand new piece of technology or method. And, if we had that, we couldn't share that now anyway. But that's kind of to address the speed. And then obviously in the last, probably 3, 4, 5 years now, even everybody's been chasing vibration. And we've done a good job of that more recently of a lot of hand shock out of it, less vibration. As far as what the consumer is going to want next, I mean, I wish I knew. I wish we knew and nobody else knew. I know what I want. I mean, I think it's all a circle. It's a vicious circle. It will go. The next step will be speed, or the next step will be lighter or something, but it's not going to stay the same.
Yeah, I think vibration was a big thing for me, especially when the speed really started. Everybody was pushing for speed and wanted that fastest bow out there on the market, and then all of a sudden you had these bows that, yeah, they were fast, yeah, they were accurate, but at the same time, you had such a bad hand shock that you didn't want to shoot that bow, or you felt that it affected your shot. And that's one thing I can say, that you guys actually have that dampening down rather well. I shot, I think, 6 different bows from your line, and then did about 6 or 7 from the traditional line. I just couldn't put them down. I kept playing with them. That's one of the things that just made me really want to talk to you guys and figure that out, because you've got it dialed pretty much as far as the hand shock. And the other thing I've noticed is the balance as well. A lot of bows don't necessarily have that balance to where it felt right. It felt comfortable to where when I had that grip in my hand and I released that arrow, that bowl just naturally just dropped forward just like it's supposed to do, and it didn't cant left or right depending on my form or anything. I mean, is that something that you guys have really worked hard towards, or was it something that just came naturally with the product?
Some of that. I mean, as far as your balance point, without going into too many details, we do certain things to where we feel like we like our balance. We don't want to change our balance. And some people brag about being perfectly center shot, and I think those bows are very, very top heavy. But um, I can't really say much more than that.
Yeah.
I think it comes from, years of these guys in the field using the gear, and they put what they like and what they've found, through years of experience into the bows and into the designs that they do. And that's pretty much kind of the baseline denominator to it. These guys are users and they're putting their experience into their designs.
Yeah. Have you had a lot of input on things yet, Caleb, or is that definitely coming down the pipeline?
That's up to them. If they want to come talk to me, I'll put some input in, but we've had some conversations.
Yeah. What about you, David? Has there been some serious input put in there to where it really panned out?
Input from myself or input from Caleb?
From yourself.
Input from myself. I mean, I'm the design engineer. I run the CAD. I mean, they may tell me what they want, but I'm running it too. So I try to do what they want, but I'm also, I got to live by the laws of physics.
Yeah.
And some of these other guys don't seem to have to. But anyway, they let me have a lot of input. Yes.
That's living by the laws of physics. That just kind of got me a little bit. I imagine, there's a lot of things that, depending on, practicality and reality and, pushing the envelope of materials, you can only take things so far. And people always want to push that conceptually, but putting it into reality and practicing that, I can totally see that. So It just really made me laugh.
It's a balance act. It really is. And I said that I wasn't trying to throw guys under the bus. We have a hell of a team here, and everybody, for the most part, everybody has a ton of experience in the application, and that's a big deal. So nobody gets too crazy most of the time, but the crazy stuff sometimes spurs some of the coolest ideas.
Yeah,
it's a vehicle to get you there, but they're not there when it's first said. If that makes sense.
Yeah. So one of the questions that was submitted to me, and kind of curious too, I didn't even think about it or notice it. I've never really paid that much attention to the technical aspect of the bow, other than, my bow tech sets it up for me and I shoot it, and if it needs to be tweaked, then I'll tweak it. But the functionality of the string slides versus roller guards, the higher end bows tended to have them first, and Bear Archery for a long time, and I think maybe like Dart and Archery was the only ones where they held true to the slides for a long time before they actually switched over. And same with you guys. Was it a cost standpoint, or was it more of like a improvement thing to where a lot of your bows now have the roller guards on them? I've heard even people say, as far as like bow techs, say they actually prefer the slides. You get more shots out of your strings and different things without them wearing, because if they don't have the proper serving there on the string and stuff like that, it can really affect it.
After years of fine print contracts and getting ripped off by overpriced wireless providers, if we've learned anything, it's that there's always a catch. So when I heard that for a limited time, all Mint Mobile wireless plans are $15 a month when you purchase a 3-month plan, I thought, what's the catch? But after talking to them, it all made sense. There isn't one. Mint Mobile's secret sauce is that they sell wireless service online. They cut out the cost of retail stores and pass those sweet savings directly to you. All plans come with high-speed data and unlimited talk and text delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. To get this new customer offer, go to mintmobile.com/waypoint. $45 upfront payment required, equivalent to $15 a month. New customers on first 3-month plan only. Speed slower above 40 gigabytes on unlimited plan. Additional taxes, fees, and restrictions apply. See Mint Mobile for details.
We've ran that roller guard system on our high-end stuff
On the high end.
Probably since 17 or 18. That is a very, very good system, an underrated system in my opinion. I don't know if Caleb loves it or not, but it has a positive mechanical displacement every time you pull the bow back, our hinge roller system. And what that does is it moves the rollers closer to neutral on the bow. Mechanically, we're not counting on any type of flex system. We're proud of it, and we use it on the high end stuff, but we don't take it down into the mid price point stuff, mainly because of cost, to tell you the truth. Slides are great. They usually they don't fail. There's no failure to them. On our stuff, the rollers will outperform the slides from a longevity of cables and servings. I don't know about other people's stuff. Honestly, I haven't spent that much time cycle testing their stuff.
Yeah. No, I find that interesting because I never paid attention to it, but once he said it, I started looking at, people's bows and my bow in particular and some other ones that I knew of, and some of them, yeah, they do wear that serving does wear pretty good. So maybe that's just a design point on them, on those bows, but
our hinge roller system, I can speak to our cycle test machine and what we do, what we put it through will last over 10,000 shots on a set of cables on the serving.
Wow.
And,
okay.
And we can't get a slide to do that, honestly.
About 4,000 shots or maybe on a slide, or yeah.
In that neighborhood. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's interesting. So, can you kind of just talk about, we mentioned it earlier, but the solo cam, the new THP bow and like functionality of that and kind of the driving purpose behind that, because in a world where everything is dual cam stuff and just, it caught my attention right away, and it made me think to myself, like, what's the driving force behind that? But then I remember the old solo cam bows and how forgiving they were as well. Just is that kind of what the driving force behind what they wanted, or what was the deal with that?
I can answer that if you want, David.
Yeah.
But the solo cam bow is what they specifically asked for.
Yep.
To your point, it was an easy shooting, easy tuning system, and that's what they wanted. They wanted something that, anybody could pick up off the shelf. It would take very little time to get it set up and tuned, and then they could go right to the field with it being as simple as possible. And that's their brand. That's who they are. They're simple bow hunters, and they wanted a simple bow for their simple bow hunting brand.
Yeah, I found it interesting because, I mean, the one thing you may sacrifice a little bit is speed, but at the same time, sometimes practicality and, forgiveness or adaptability sometimes trumps that speed that you're foregoing, So I think that's a neat option, and the price point isn't that bad. I don't recall exactly what it is, but
no, and it's definitely something where if you're comfortable shooting something and you're more accurate with it because you're more comfortable with it, that's going to trump a lot of the other specs that are out there. If you can make a better shot 9 times out of 10, speed's only going to get you so far if you can't make the shot. So
yeah, no, I like that. David, maybe you can talk about the execute and how that's developed. You said it was 2018 was the first year of that, or was that just the first year you started using roller guards?
2018 was the first year we started using roller guards. Okay. The execute bows were both new this year. So you want me to talk about the execute bow?
Yeah, if you could talk about the execute, because I found that bow was absolutely amazing. I mean, that was
I mean, like we said before, that was us trying to, jump in full, both feet, trying to reduce vibration, maintain performance. And we laid the limbs down farther than we've, more parallel on the limb system. It's a new cam system for us, or new cams, the same system, but every time you mess with the geometry of a bow, you have to work on the cams. I mean, you're sold on it because you shot it, and that's what we have to get people to do, is shoot that. Because if you shoot that, it's like, oh my gosh, Bear knows what they're doing at the top end as well.
Yeah,
and that's a story we've been telling for some time now, but we just need more people to give us a try, because we have some really good top end stuff.
That I still can't get over it because it absolutely blew my mind. I shot the mid range stuff, and it performed, or I should say, outperformed my expectations. But then when I picked up that execute, I think I did shoot I shot the 32 for sure, and that's the same axle to axle as my bow now.
Mm-hmm.
And I honestly, I liked it better. I liked it better than what I shoot now, and mine is, a common brand bow. I shoot the Matthews Verdicts, and it's like, that's one of the most, notoriety wise bows. But I shot, and it was weird because Bear never came to my mind as that high end bow. You don't, like I said, I don't even have a bow shop around me that carries them. I only have basically one bow shop, and they don't carry Bear Archery products there. But when I shot that, I was just like, this is crazy. A Bear Archery product, and it's outperforming my bow, or I like the way it fits my hand, the way it feels, the balance. There's zero hand shock. And I mean, we were shooting obviously short range without sights, and the guy told me, aim at a different spot, on the target. And it was just like something about it, the way the mechanics and everything, it was a great bow.
Yeah. Well, maybe if we get somebody good in marketing, they can sell it.
Caleb, what are you going to do about that?
No, and another thing to that point is there's a lot of little things that we did right with the XQ. There's machine pockets on it. There are, the sling guard, the pivoting guard. There's a lot of little details about that bow that are, head and shoulders above, what we had in the past, and then even, the rest of the market. But, another big point is every one of those bows is made in Gainesville, Florida, along with 90% of our line. Everything Bear is still very true to made in the USA, and it's something that we've taken some pride in with the XQ.
Yeah, and that's the other thing that surprised me too, though. Still keeping them made in America, the components made in America as well. That I think is important to a lot of people, and it, speaks volumes that over the years you guys have kept true to that, and keeping up the values and traditions that, Fred Bear actually had when there was the inception of all of his products in the first place. That is pretty cool, and that's why I had to have you guys on and talk about it. It's remarkable. One of the other things, though, I wanted to talk about, and I don't know if you, David, or you, Caleb, can talk about it, but recently, over the past few years, it seems that there's been a revitalization as far as the traditional equipment as well, and taking some of those older products in the original forms, and just kind of, it seems like the materials are better, but it's the same actual bow itself, which is better products. Can you kind of talk about the lines as far as that goes, and what there is out there now? Because I shot them, and I'm in love with some of them again. So I'm gonna definitely be getting some trad stuff to play with in my future, and that way I don't have to worry about ruining the glass on my original Kodiak Magnum.
Neil, the other guy that we were going to have on, and we'll have another episode with him eventually. He is one of the last, if not the last, remaining student of Fred Bear, and he's a 40-year bowyer that works in our Gainesville, runs our Gainesville facility, and he is the main reason that we have a lot of the bows, that are true to the original specs that we do, because he took them bull by the horns and was able to knock them out and get the designs almost exactly the same as what they were, in the early 70s, late 60s.
Yeah.
Fred.
I mean, to me, there's something always near and dear to my heart with the Bear Archery. For the longest time, I didn't associate Bear Archery with your higher end bows. Clearly now I do. That's something that I'm going to be an advocate of in the future because it's so cool. But the revitalization of the Bear products and the traditional stuff, watching those old Fred Bear videos, and I don't know about you, Caleb, but like growing up as a kid and seeing those video clips, and later on, I was just actually talking to Zach from the Hunting Public recently about how I used before YouTube. I was watching videos on YouTube. I would watch Netflix videos, and they had a bunch of Fred Hill and the Wenzel brothers had stuff on there, and you could get the DVDs from them before they started streaming, and it was all streaming stuff. And I had to up my subscription to like 5 DVDs at once because I couldn't wait to try and get, watch one disc and then send it back and get the other one. I wanted them all now. And I ordered them, and one of them was a Fred Bear collection that they had on there. Mm-hmm. And I ended up watching one of them over and over and over, and it was the Kodiak Magnum hunt, where he took the Kodiak to Kodiak Island, hunted the bear on Kodiak, and they were throwing stuff in the water and shooting targets and lobster netting and just, all those cool things. It's just iconic Fred Bear stuff, and it sticks in my mind. And so, like, associating those and then shooting the new products, I mean, it's like a renewed sense of nostalgia that just I think is pretty awesome.
Yeah, no, he is definitely an icon, and it's everything that we can do to keep his name and to keep what he started, going in the direction that he would want it to. So.
Yeah, what's kind of the vision for the future? If you could talk, I know there's a lot of things you can't talk about, but right. Is there anything that you can talk about as far as the future and what you're kind of looking forward to or growing towards?
It's continually pushing the envelope, making sure our high end is still pushing that and, advancing and going from there. But, the traditional side, we have a few things that we've thought about doing. But again, it's going back to maintaining what Fred started and then, keeping it modern and pushing it forward.
Yeah, no, I really like what you guys have done. David, do you have anything to add to that?
Not really. I mean, that's like he said, we just keep trying.
Yeah, no, it's pretty cool to see what's going on there with you guys. The other thing makes me think about though is like how, and I guess the other individual that was going to join us would definitely be the one to answer those trad questions then. But it's pretty neat to see the development of those products and the takedowns, even the takedowns coming back out. It's still not like the takedown to me doesn't feel like a favorite bow, but it shoots well, and the products, the magnesium riser and stuff like that is pretty cool stuff. But the iconic stuff to me just is always going to have a sweet spot in my heart. And I don't know if that's because my buddy got me into that and I started watching those Fred Bear videos at 15, 16 years old and kept with it all the way through. But that's something that's pretty impressive.
No, it'll be a very special episode when you can get Neil on, because he is a wealth of knowledge when it comes to, not only bear archery, but traditional archery as a whole. But he can talk in depth, on every one of those products. He remembers making them 40 years ago with Fred over his shoulder, and then, going through the development and bringing them back into the line. And then, like the Cheyenne and the Ausable, both of those lines are his designs. So he's also had input on new traditional bows that have been, implemented and put on our line. So,
yeah, that's awesome. So, have you killed one with a bear bow yet? Anything, or what are your plans there, Caleb?
I've not yet. And it's the old saying, like, everybody's first bow was a bear, and I'm no different. My very first bow when I was 8 years old was a Kodiak Magnum, and I hunted with that for a handful of years way back in the day. So it's one of those things. I spent a good amount of time in a stand, passed a lot of deer this fall, but I didn't, run an arrow through anything.
Yeah. I remember my dad, when I was a kid, had a bear bow. It had these massive beefy limbs and an old grid sight where it actually had the wires for the sight where they intersected. And that was the whole sight on it back then. And I always used to watch him in awe, wishing I could pull back a compound bow that big, but what about you, David?
Oh, I've killed a couple things with a bear bow. I've worked here for 11 years. So
yeah. What's I mean, are you a modern conventional guy? Or?
Definitely a compound guy. I mean, I've of course got a couple recurves, but every time I grab one, the national sales manager makes fun of me. So I'm afraid if I'm carrying one of those, the biggest deer I've ever seen is going to walk out there about 30 yards. So
and then as Fred Bear says, you just got to sit still, stay silent, and get in close.
I'd rather have the compound if that happens.
Right. So one of the things as far as like it just popped in my head, but like distance and stuff like that, the execute's the one who really conquers the distance and as far as that goes on the shooting as well. And is that what you're running?
Yeah, I hunted with an execute last fall.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
When I got my hands on one, yes.
Awesome.
Yeah, they take all the prototypes, so
Yeah. No, that's cool. I appreciate you guys coming on, and I'm looking forward to that next episode. We'll really dive deep into the old traditional stuff and get some history all the way back from the Fred Bear days. But it's great talking to you guys, learning. Is there anything you guys would like to add as far as technology or anything with the bows that somebody might want to know that I don't know? Because I definitely learned about the adjustability of the Legend, and that seems really cool to me. And as my kids get older, if you continue to produce that line, that's definitely something I'm going to invest in along the way.
No, I think we really covered and did a good job. Like you said, we have a bow for everybody, whether you're looking to get started or, you've been doing this forever. We have a bow that fits you, and we have a price range that fits you too. So,
yeah. So if anybody wants to get in touch with Bear Archery, has tech questions, product questions, anything like that, where do they go? Where are they going to find bows? All that good stuff.
Our website is a great resource. While it is, largely there are some accessories and different things, it is a good alternative to a physical catalog. And then, there is a contact us and a dealer locator, and our dealer base is awesome, and that'd be another great outlet for them to go to.
And if they want to follow you on social media, I'm guessing it's pretty easy.
Yep,
Bear Archery.
Yep. Everywhere. Yep.
Okay. Awesome. I appreciate it, you guys. Thank you so much for coming on and sharing, and looking forward to the future of Bear Archery and future podcasts. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And once again, thank you so much for listening to the Publicly Challenged podcast. I hope you enjoyed the show, and if you did, please subscribe on whatever platform it is you're listening to. Also, if you could leave a review, that would help us out. And you can check us out on Instagram or at publiclychallenged.com. And once again, thank you so much for listening to the show.